Okay, hey folks, Mark Locklear here, and this is your welcome video and I'm doing this screencast for two classes. So you're either in my Java CSC 151 class, or you're in my C++ CSC 134 class. My Moodle shells are very similar, and the way I run the classes in general are very similar. So everything I'm going to say here is going to apply to either of these classes. I think I'll be using when we look at Moodle, I'll be using the C++ shell in Moodle, but again, it's going to be almost identical in Java. It's just the content; it's going to be the same. So first off, again, welcome to either of those classes. My name is Mark Locklear. I'm a web developer with the Extension Foundation. You can find that at extension.org if you go there and look. And been a web developer for about 10 years now, primarily do Ruby on Rails. And then have been teaching Java and C++ for almost 10 years now, Java for a longer period of time, almost 10 years, and then C++ for just maybe a couple of years now. And so yeah, that's a little about my background. Okay, so let's just jump right in. I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to take a look at, again, this is the C++ shell, but again, Java is going to look very similar. So a couple things. I'll just start at the top and work my way down. Generally, the course announcements are what I'll use to make announcements. You'll get an email notification. I'll post these. When I post them here, it should automatically give you an email notification. Generally, I'll send an email out every week. We cover a chapter per week. I think maybe C++ is the only exception. Toward the end, we spend 2 weeks on one of the chapters just because it's fairly dense content, but generally, the way we do this is it's a chapter per week. We start on Monday, and then the assignments are due at Friday at 12 p.m., so 12 o'clock lunchtime. That's without exception. Coding assignments are due each week. You'll have a coding assignment each week, and that's going to be due at Friday at 12 p.m. The assignments, I have cutoff dates set for the assignment, so the assignment closes down at 12, so you can't submit it after 12. If you want to request if you want to request a late submission, you can send me an email and you can attach your assignment there and sort of give me a reason why. So generally my policy is that I don't accept late work. That doesn't mean I never accept late work. I understand that life happens, but generally I expect you to send me an email prior and sort of let me know what's going on. But as a rule of thumb, in general, I don't accept late work. The reason that is because number one, again, we have a coding assignment every week, so it's easy to get behind on the work. So that's number one. Number two, even if you miss a coding assignment, it's not going to be by the time we calculate the quizzes and the coding assignments, 16 different coding assignments by the end of this semester. It has a pretty small impact on your grade, although I would still encourage you, even if you're late, I would encourage you to submit a coding assignment. If I do accept a late assignment, I generally take off maybe 15 points if it's late. And, if you're consistently late more than 2 or 3 times, then, we need to have a conversation about why you're consistently turning in late work. So that's all I'll say about that. So again, course assignments you can see here. This welcome video is here. That's the video you're watching now. I also email that out, so you can see that there. And this is an important one. This video, how to be successful in this course. I think I'll link that in the initial email too. Watch that just really quick. The way to be successful in this course is to read the chapter, watch the screencast, and then do the coding assignment, and do them in that order, not the other way around. A lot of people like to look at the coding assignments first and then try to figure it out. And if they can't, then they go back and maybe read the chapter, or they'll go back and watch the screencast. Don't do it that way. Read the chapter, read the entire complete chapter, watch the entire screencast. They're usually no more than 10 or 15 minutes long, and then do the coding assignments, and then send me an email if you have questions. But anyway, watch that welcome video. or watch that How to Be Successful in That Course video. There's also a student forum assignment here. If you have questions, just general questions you want to ask and share with other folks. Generally, they're not real popular. Folks will post there. I get an email notification if somebody posts something in the forum, and it's a good way to share with other students, or at least share questions and maybe my responses with other students. But just in the past, that's never been. Students aren't real. They're not real involved there for whatever reason. But that's there. There's a resource if you want to give it a try. Again, if you post there, I'll respond back with I'll give a response there. Don't share, obviously don't share any code or any homework there. I mean, you can share code snippets if you have questions about them, obviously, but don't share complete assignments or anything like that. The syllabus is here, and then I just got a few other random things that are posted there. If you have questions about any of those, let me know. Okay, let's talk about the schedule. Here's what you need to get done this week. You need to get the getting started assignment done by Friday. I think that's 26 I've got posted. Yeah, 26 is Friday. You need to get this getting started assignment done since this is an online class. And if that's not clear at this point, this class is entirely online. I'll email out some sort of office hour dates. I may have a standing. I've done that in the past. Sometimes I'm on campus a couple of times per week. And so we may have a standing date where if people want to come in and ask questions or do anything like that, they can. But generally, but go ahead and get this getting started assignment done. Since this is an online class, this is how you essentially register for the class or register your attendance the first time that I know, like you're a live human being and you've logged into Moodle and you know where the materials are. If you do not get this done by Friday, then you'll be dropped from the course. So get this done. So, and we want to do that this week by Friday. So in addition to that, also chapter 1 is due this week. So this gets your development environments set up. It's different for C++ and Java, but essentially if it's C++, you're going to be installing either Visual Studio if you're on Windows or Xcode for Mac. And then if it's for Java, you'll be using NetBeans. Also, I've got a note here about Replit. So Replit.com. This is pretty cool. This is a pretty cool environment. It's a development environment. Probably got some REPLs here that you could look at. I think this sausage one is actually a Java test one that I did. But anyway, you can do all of your development here. Let's go down to main.java so you can see the Java code. You can do all of your code writing here. You can actually run these here and then see the output. And then you can export when you go to submit your coding assignments each week. You can export from this environment. So this is it's got its own sort of little quirks and things that you need to learn, but generally it's a nice way to sort of do it all online. Everything lives inside Replit, so you've got your code there as opposed to being on your local machine. And a lot of the issues you sometimes run into with local development environments trying to set those things up, you don't run into. It's your choice though. And again, I've got all that laid out in Moodle, so you can see the sort of you can look at the options there and decide what it is you want to do. Okay, so again, that's all this week. You need to get both the getting started assignment done and chapter 1. And again, chapter 1 is just simply getting the development environment set up, and then I'm asking you to do a Hello World program. You're just going to submit that. It'll be a .cpp file if it's in C++, and it'll be a .java file. For the coding assignments, only submit either .cpp or .java files. Don't send me the class files or anything else in the other, or the .exe. It may be .exe and C++, but I only need the actual the .java or the .cpp files. If you submit more than that, then I'll ask you to resubmit it. So usually it takes some folks a couple of weeks to warm up to that, but usually by week 2 or 3, we've got that figured out. Okay, so that's the sort of short-term stuff. Let's talk about the overall class. So as I mentioned earlier, 1 chapter per week. That's generally the way it goes. The dates are all there. Notice that this is the starting date, and then you'll see the assignment due date. Again, that assignment due date is for the coding assignment. That's always due on Friday each week at 12 p.m. The entire course is open up right now. All of the assignments are opened up right now. So this is an open course. The way I have it set up is all of the assignments are there. If you scroll all the way down to the last, even down to the final exam and the final project are there. Feel free to work ahead as much as you want. You know, my recommendation is generally to stick with the one chapter per week. Those are nice digestible chunks that you can sort of you know, that you're able to do in a week's time, and it's going to allow you to soak in the information, you know, over 16 weeks as opposed to trying to cram it in a shorter amount of time. That being said, you know, you've got the flexibility. It's nice to have the flexibility that if you know you're going to have a busy week, you know, next week, and you've got you've got a bunch of math assignments or other assignments you've got to do, you can work ahead and submit assignments that way. If you're going to be out of town or got something special planned, then that does give you the flexibility to work forward if you like. Just be aware that if you submit assignment or if you submit coding assignments early, I won't grade them. I don't grade them until they're actually due inside Moodle. So feel free to work ahead and submit assignments, but again, I won't actually grade them until the week that they're due. The quiz assignments, the quizzes, there's a quiz each week. So each week there's a coding assignment, there's a quiz. The quizzes are open and you can do them whenever you want. There's not a due date on those other than like the last week of the semester when the final exam is due. I require the quizzes to be due then. So again, no due date on the quizzes. I would recommend that you do them the week that you're doing the coding assignment, that the coding assignment is due when we cover that chapter. The information is going to be fresh in your mind then. So you've got a better chance of you know, you're going to do your best on it then. So don't wait. I've had students that wait till the end of the semester to do all the quizzes at once, and usually is not the most efficient way to do it, just because again, the information is not fresh in your mind. I think you have 2 attempts on each quiz, and then I take the highest grade from those. The quizzes are from test banks that come along with the Mirac book. So I don't the quizzes are I don't come up with the quiz questions myself. They come from the book. The quizzes are tough, so don't feel bad about it. I'll take them from time to time just to test my own knowledge, and I tend to not always do well just because I haven't read the chapter and it's not fresh in my mind. But the quizzes are not easy, so don't feel too bad about it. Quizzes are only worth 25% of your grade, so even if you don't do well on the quizzes, that doesn't mean, you know, you can still get an A. This is what the Mirac books look like. This is the C++ book. Java book looks very similar to that. I like the Mirac books. Some books are like anything else. Some people are gonna like them, some people not. Generally, I think they do a good job of having, again, nice digestible chunks for each chapter that fit into that 1 week time frame, which tends to work well. Okay, so there's that. Let's look at a typical coding assignment. I'm just going to randomly choose chapter 5 here. So chapter 5. So generally what I will do is generally you will have between 2 or 3, but generally it's 3 coding assignments each week within a single coding assignment. There's usually 3. Usually what I'll do is ask you to complete one of the book assignments. So the first exercise will be one of the book assignments. For both Java and C++, the book assignments, their solutions are on the CD. You should get a CD with it, or well, I think you can download the code maybe on the website too. So depending on where you get it from, the book, the exercises in the book, you also have the solutions for those. So I'll ask you to do one of the coding assignments from the book usually for the first exercise. And the idea is try to do it on your own without looking at the solution in the book, but you can sort of fall back and go back and look at the solution in the book. Or once you think you've solved it, you can go and look at the solution in the book and sort of compare what you've done compared to that. So that's usually the first assignment. The second assignment for a given week, I'll normally ask you to modify one of the assignments in the book. And again, the idea is there, I'm sort of requiring you to stretch, you know, your knowledge a little more rather than just giving you an assignment that you can look at the solution to. I'm going to ask you to modify one of the existing programs that's already there. And then the third exercise usually in the week is one you've got to do from scratch. This comes from the projects document inside Moodle, and I'll show you where that lives in a second. But again, this third exercise is one you've got to develop the program from scratch. You don't have any code, you don't have any starter code there or anything like that. You've got to do it all from scratch. Let's look at the, let me go back to the home page. And so the projects document is here. I put this is actually a PDF, I think, in the Mirac book, but use this link. I've imported it into Google Drive, and that's because I'll slightly make modifications from time to time. But these are the projects. These are the projects inside the book that I'll ask you to do. And I'll give you an example of one here. Generally, they'll ask you, if this one says create a program that calculates the amount of time and fuel for a 1980 Cessna, and then they'll give you some sample output of what the output in the console on the terminal should actually look like, and then they'll give you various specifications you'll want to follow. So generally each assignment is going to have those three parts. One that's sort of a freebie. I'm asking you to do one of the assignments in the book, but you've got the solution for it, so there's no reason you shouldn't get that one. The second one, I'm asking you to modify an existing program, and then the third one is you'll be writing a program from scratch. Be sure to follow these specifications. Just because you get the output right doesn't necessarily mean you'll get full credit for the assignment. If it asks you to do things a certain way, for instance, here they say round the amount of required fuel to 1 decimal place. So that's a requirement. If you don't round the output to 1 decimal place, then you're not going to get full credit. I might take, like, just as an example for that, I'd probably take off 5 or 10 points if you don't do it. So make sure to watch those specifications, and obviously you need to test your code too after you've coded something up. Test all possible combinations. Again, this thinking about 1 decimal place, you may want to put in some round numbers like they've got here, but also maybe put in some decimal numbers. Okay, so again, this is the projects document. So when you're looking at the assignments in the book, make sure you understand the difference between the book assignments that are actually inside the Mirac book and then the ones that are from this projects document. Again, this projects document is from Mirac too, but they complement all of the assignments that are in the book. Okay, there's that. I also wanted to mention one other thing. Not coming to me. I'm going to pause. Again, the difference I mentioned between the book exercise and the chapter exercise. Also, note the screencasts. Again, there's a screencast for each one. That's really where the teaching sort of part of this comes from. And again, we can meet if you have issues, or if you utilize some of the office hours I do. You'll have the possibility to meet in person, or sometimes I'll do Zoom. The last few years with COVID, it sort of depends on what the COVID numbers are doing. I've got a compromised family. I've got a family member with a compromised immune system, so I've been generally I try not to meet face to face. Things have gotten better, but then they're saying we could have a surge this fall, so we're just that'll be a wait and see sort of thing. If I'm not doing in-person meetings, then we can do Zoom. But generally, if you have issues, the protocol should be for you to, email should be your first way to contact me. If you're having an issue with an assignment or any clarification or whatever, don't hesitate to send me an email. Don't send me an email and say my code is not working, because that's not a very good, that doesn't help me very much, right? I need to know, okay, I'm working on program 3. I'm working on coding assignment 331. The output I'm getting is not matching what it's supposed to be doing. I've tried this, and this, but none of that is working. So that's the kind of email that I want. Just telling me, hey, I'm working on 3.1 and my program doesn't work. What do you think the issue might be? That's not very helpful for me. It doesn't allow me to help you very much. So be as specific as you can about the issue you're having, and then also include your code too. Don't do a screenshot of code. Some students send me screenshots of code. I need to run your code, and a screenshot is not helping me any. So go ahead and attach the .cpp or the .java file to the email that you send me if you're having issues. That way I'm able to see the code, and if I want to run it, I'm also able to drop it inside of an ID, and I can run the code. I think that's all for now. So your marching orders from this point on are for this week. You need to get that getting started assignment done. And then also chapter 1 is going to be due on Friday. So that's all for now. Excited about this semester. Real quick, my philosophy on teaching software development and coding is one of, I'm here to teach you software development. We're going to use C++ or Java to do it, but the concepts are broad. I try to keep these things general and broad, and whether it's, whether it's search algorithms or whether it's if-else loops, all of the things we do, the concepts should be transferable across programming languages. The idea is if you go on to do great things in PHP or Ruby or Python, that you're going to be able to take the things you learn here and apply them to those other things. Very seldom is there a concept we learn that, okay, it's just C++, and C++ does it this way, but no other programming language does it this way, or Java has this concept, but you don't really see it anywhere else. Generally, everything we learn, whether it's arrays or lists, methods, all of these things are transferable to other software development languages. So that's sort of how I try to approach things. Okay, I'll go ahead and end it now. Excited about the semester and looking forward to working with you. Good luck.